I remember at home, because I'm sweating on my hands and feet, singeweza kuvaa sandals because I would literally slide off the sandals, and it used to aggravate my dad a lot. Constantly nilikuwa navaa viatu hata tukiwa kwa nyumba, a pair of socks and shoes. When I wake up in the morning, I'll only remove those shoes and socks in the evening. But whenever we had to engage in any school activity, now that's where I used to get the biggest challenge, because now I can't hide the sweat. And the more you age, the more now people are very good with the words. People will say some very, very, very nasty things. So there is the sweat that starts either from early childhood, puberty or teenagehood, or at the age of 20 hapo. So primary focal hyperhidrosis is any sweat that is earlier than the age of 25. So from 24 kurudi nyuma. So at early childhood, you might even notice that your child ataweza kuwa kwa 6 months old na kwa mikono na miguu unafilana ana sweat. Kabisa na unaona ana sweat, hata ukimvalisha utoto socks tudogo, those two small socks, you can even feel ziko a bit clammy or padded with sweat. As you move with age, you start noticing them having challenges with writing. Akiandika akiwa shule, una notice hata atakuja kuambia yeye mwenyewe. They'll come back home and tell you, Mom, I'm experiencing challenges with writing. Or akirudi nyumbani ameshika bag yake, una notice bag ni chafu. It's because ya hiyo kugrip, kushika. Ama wakitoa viatu, you notice they're having smelly feet. So you always keep an eye on the sweat and always check. With primary focal hyperhidrosis, you only sweat during the day. At night, usually the sweat doesn't happen at night. But with secondary, it happens. That is because it's been brought about by something. Now, your child is experiencing palmar hyperhidrosis, palmar and plantar ya miguu. So as a parent, you'll ask yourself, who do I consult? The professional or the expert you're supposed to consult is a certified dermatologist or a pediatrician who also understands excessive sweating. But in this case, a certified dermatologist is the person to consult. And the reason being, sweat occurs on the skin. And the skin doctor are usually the best to address the issue. Why do we normally advise people to consult a certified dermatologist? Is to rule out the possibilities of any underlying causes, and also to ascertain your type and category of sweat. Is yours primary or secondary? And no two people sweat exactly the same. There is hyperhidrosis and there is bromhidrosis. Bromhidrosis is the excessive sweating with bad offensive odor. They are not the same. From bromhidrosis, there is chromhidrosis. These are individuals who sweat, and the sweat manifests in different colors: red, black, yellow, or even blue. So no two individuals sweat exactly the same. It's totally different. There is also chromhidrosis. The sweat, I think I've touched chrome. There is also pseudochromhidrosis. There are different forms. So the doctor will ascertain, is yours primary or secondary? Hormonal imbalance also causes excessive sweating, but secondary. So once the doctor ascertains, or even when you talk to HAK, when we do that one-on-one Q&A sweat sessions, with the answers I get, it's possible for me to even tell that your sweat is more of primary or more secondary. So any sweat that is below the age of 25, that is usually primary focal. But we look at other significant factors. With the Q&A, I will always ask, besides you, or even if you look at your family, is there anyone in your family with sweat issue? They don't have to sweat exact area as you. Wanaweza kuwa na sweat kwa uso or the underarms. Then that means hyperhidrosis runs in the family. 2 to 3% accounts for genetic hyperhidrosis, and that number is not fixed. It keeps on changing. Every day a child is born, so in 1 or 2 kuna mwenye ako na sweat issue, right? So the number keeps on changing. So we look at those important details. Is there anyone in your family with sweat issues? Have you ever consulted a certified dermatologist for proper diagnosis and treatments? So if your child is below the age of 5, we may not prescribe a clinical antiperspirant lotion to apply on your apake kwa mikono, mostly kwa mikono, because a 5-year-old unajua atasahau. They will typically forget, and then utapata mikono ziko kwa mdomo, vitu kama hizo. But once they have crossed this 7th year mark, when they are 7 years hapo, it's easy now for you even as a parent, sababu you're the one to guide. You're the one now responsible on the application. Wendo unamguide, unamwambia utapaka hivi, hii time na usiku. Mostly antiperspirants are supposed to be applied at night. Why at night? Because at night you're less active, unalala. They work best at night, and then now in the morning is when you reapply. So a child who's 7 years is under the supervision ya mzazi. The parent is the one now guiding the child on how to apply, and they can always refer to HAK for anything or for further clarifications, which we always do. So we have different brands for addressing the sweat on the palms and the feet, the likes of Cape. There is Sweat Block, there is Zero Sweat, there is Toton. Knit Fit also have their own line for hand sweating. Those brands, we've been availing those brands since 2019, and they've been very, very instrumental. They also go with the rate of the sweat. Another question we ask is your sweat mild, excessive, or extreme? Once it hits the extreme mark, then we have to go to the next level. Hyperhidrosis treatment will always go into levels. You have level 1, which is now the topical treatments. These clinical prescription strength antiperspirants. For someone who has excessive sweating of the underarms, in 2020 we did a research, and we found out that when you combine a PM and an AM antiperspirant, you get the best results. So the question is, why PM and AM? Again, antiperspirants are supposed to be applied at night, and there's a difference between an antiperspirant and a deodorant. Antiperspirants, they reduce the excessive sweating. Deodorants, they mask the smell. So when it comes to auxiliary sweating of the underarms, we know that there are higher chances we are dealing with hyperhidrosis and bromhidrosis, which is the sweat with a bad defensive odor. There are also things to look into. Number 1, diet. Diet contributes to body odor. So explain to us your diet. That is one of the most common questions they will always get from me. Na tukiona pale kwa diet hakuna any nutritional value, we start telling them, can you start doing away with the processed food, with the junks, and include a lot of vegetables, include a lot of fruits. And then there is also the care for your underarms. How do you shower? When you're showering, how do you wash your underarms? And this is where now people make the mistake of thinking that if you scrub, hapo ndo unatoa uchafu. No. Scrubbing, that's how you irritate your sweat glands. And this is why unapata mtu ame sweat, akitoka tu hivi kwa shower, once they step out, they start sweating. Because you've already irritated your sweat glands by scrubbing, and then you're rinsing with hot water. So your sweat glands are crazy. They're like literally out, crying out loud. Once you step out, you'll start sweating immediately. That is one question I get. Why do I sweat immediately after? And once I start explaining to them or even asking them question, do you do 1, 2, 3, and they actually agree, the solution is to change first. You see, hata tujaingilia the treatments. How do you start? By cleaning yourself, the care regimen, how do you do it? So when you're showering and you want to clean your underarms, you use the same process when you clean your face. You're not aggressive on your face. You massage your face. So activate soap on your palm, go to your underarms and rub gently, smoothly, haitaki makasiriko, gently, and then you rinse with cold or warm water. And then when you're drying, do not use the towel again to scrub. You sponge yourself. Sponge yourself. Once you step out, you'll see the difference. And then, how do you apply the antiperspirant? Now listen to me. Today, most of you will learn you've been doing it the wrong way. If I gave you, let's say even if it's Nivea, nimekupatia hivi, Nivea roll-on. Typically, how would most of you apply? Utafungua, and then just roll. Do you know you haven't applied anything? That is called dabbing. You haven't applied. That antiperspirant, it's on the surface of the underarms. And this is why when you sweat, yote inaenda kwa nguo. Why do you think you have whitish marks on your favorite black dress or black shirt? You didn't apply anything. You just dabbed. The action of rolling is called dabbing. How you do it? For instance, now I have a client who's experiencing excessive sweating with ODA, bromhidrosis, or even just excessive sweating, and they want to really manage that sweat. So once you're given the PM version, how do you apply? Make sure first you clean your underarms and you apply before going to bed. So it should be like 5 minutes or 10 minutes before you go to sleep. How do you apply? Fungua your antiperspirant. Makwapa si hapa peke yake ya katikati. No. From here. Hapa penye ukifunga hivi. Si ndio hii hapa? From here all the way up to where now your shoulder folds. From here all the way to hapa. So you take that roll-on, the liquid one, you shake it first, and then you do 2 strokes. You roll from here kwenda paka hapa juu, hiyo ni ya kwanza. And then once you go back, that's the second one. So that one is called dabbing. To apply now, tumia your palm. Rudi hapo. Now rub gently, hivi, circular motion. Completely. Until utafeel imedry kabisa. That's how you apply. And you repeat the same process to the other underarm. That's how you apply an antiperspirant, including you, the normal acclimated person, you, the nice ones that we really want to be. That's how you should be applying your favorite antiperspirant. You don't want to see those whitish marks? That's how you do it. You apply the liquid one at night. It works by closing those extra pores. So once you wake up in the morning, some of these antiperspirants have 72-hour protection. So you don't have to apply every night. That's why you do 3 days at night only. Si umeamka asubuhi, go and shower. Again, don't scrub, don't clean, massage yourself nicely. Then now go take the AM version. The AM version is usually in solid form, the solid stick. Or you can get one which is in a gel form, clear gel. Repeat the same process. Use the wheel at the bottom to roll so that that solid can pop up, and then use the solid again. 2 strokes, kwenda juu, kwenda chini. Utaona ukumeform, you have some whitish stuff. Now use your palm again. Massage gently until it completely absorbs. Once you're done, you go and enjoy your sweat-free, reduced sweat. A day full of fun, excitements. We have done that with several clients. I had a client who's also a doctor, alikuwa ametamani sana na ni Mwarabu, ametamani sana attend those weddings and all those other stuff, but she couldn't experience different colors because of sweating excessively on her underarms and on the face. And we told her, we have these topical treatments. If you give them a try, you will give us the reviews. She did that, and she shared the reviews, which we also posted on our Instagram page. She couldn't believe herself. She couldn't believe her eyes. For the first time, amepaka makeup. For the first time, she was walking around, paka natembea raka one if she's going to sweat. It was like magic to her. She came back, shared the reviews, called me on my personal line, and she requested, I want to buy the same for my younger sister. From her, she even introduced some of her friends. We have clients from Mombasa, from Ethiopia, from Juba, South Sudan, who have benefited from these topical treatments. And all this information, including how to apply those antiperspirants, we have done videos. We have even used myself as a guinea pig on how to apply. And I do this so that I can help people understand that whatever I'm buying, how do I know how to use it? And then effectiveness also depends on body chemistry. This means that what works for me is not a guarantee to work for you, depending on the brand. Maybe, for instance, certain dry can work perfectly for me. And then you try certain dry, it doesn't work. Does it mean the product, it's evil? No. The next product will work better for you. And then there are those with sensitive skin. So they usually ask, if I buy this, will it react with me? What are the side effects? So you usually have to take them through. If you're going to buy anything topical that you want to apply, you need to apply it at a surface of your skin. Unaweza hata kuchagua kama ni mkono kama hapa. Just choose a place and then you apply just a small portion. If it reacts with your skin, then that clearly tells you it's going to react with you, with the place where you choose to apply. Then it becomes complicated. Now, how do I know? You look at the history. What are the brands that you've been using? Do you look at the active ingredient percentage? Because if you're applying something that has a higher active ingredient percentage, definitely it's going to react with you. Number two, how do you apply? You're not supposed to apply an antiperspirant when you're sweating. Definitely, it's going to react with your sweat. And that is going to cause that burning sensation where people feel like it's itchy. That itchiness is because of you're not applying it properly. Another important factor is you're not supposed to shave and apply. You don't shave your underarms and then you apply an antiperspirant immediately. The act of shaving, you're forming small cuts to your skin which are not visible with your naked eye. But if you use a microscope tuangalie vizuri, we'll see those cuts. And they are small, but when magnified, they're very huge. And applying an antiperspirant on those areas after you've shaved, it leads to what we call the ingrown hairs. And once you have ingrown, it hinders the effectiveness of the antiperspirant. So once you have, if you're going to shave today, give it at least 2 days for you to apply. There are other options. If shaving leads to ingrowns and all these other things, you can always go for wax. You do a underarm waxing. Na unajua hii inatoa nywele from the roots kabisa. And once you wax, also give it a day before you start applying. They are very important factors to look into before you even pursue any form of treatment. And once you have that topical treatment, it's always advisable you follow the instructions. This is why we have those YouTube videos that I have done, because, you know, by telling someone by word of mouth or by sending through text doesn't make sense, that much sense, compared to actually looking at a video of someone explaining and doing whatever you've been instructed to do. For inguinal hyperhidrosis, not the sweat that occurs on the groin area and the bum. The type of sweat usually happens around puberty. Sio rahisi kufind a 2-year-old or a 7-year-old with inguinal hyperhidrosis. Mostly are those at puberty. That sweat really needs, it leads to a lot of psychological issues, because you cannot imagine walking around with sweat patches that are visible. You look like you've peed on yourself. You cannot experience different colors. You can't wear like a blue pant, jeans. You can't wear red or yellow. You only have to wear, you're restricted to one color, a color that can camouflage that sweat. The reason why the sweat tends to have an odor or the smell is because bacteria, they love a place that is enclosed, a place that has warmth. Bacteria inapenda hiyo place. Ndio unaona jasho ya makwapa, jasho ya groin area na kwa miguu, those areas are typically enclosed. So how do you take care of those areas? If we start with the inguinal hyperhidrosis, when you shower, please use antibacterial soap. There are many brands, or you can even get a black soap to use in those areas. And then you can use NIT 3B action cream. We usually get it from New Zealand. It's a product that has helped so many with inguinal hyperhidrosis. It helps with sweat that is above or beneath the trunk, and sweat which is below the breast for the women, and chafing between the thighs. You see, it's one product that can cater for sweat in those areas, especially for people who are in areas where the temperatures can be unforgiving. That is a very good product to use. When it comes to the feet, the foot regimen, you need to clean your feet with warm water. Warm water, and then make sure you also place warm water in a basin, and you can mix salt or baking soda, and then you dip your feet. It's like an antiseptic for your feet. Just dip in for like 15 minutes, and then you dry your feet. Make sure your feet are completely dry. Air them. Don't put on any socks. Just air your feet for about 10 minutes. And then you can apply NIT 3B antiperspirant for the feet. It's an antiperspirant and it's also a deodorant. Apply and then you sleep. It's good when you apply at night, and you can also reapply in the morning. Or you can use now Cape for the feet, or the other brands I've mentioned, the likes of Sweat Block or Zero Sweat. That's how you take care of your feet. I know most people want instant results, that I've applied on the hands and I'm completely dry. That can only happen to a very few percentage of people. For the rest, we usually encourage them to keep on applying. Consistency is the key, because you're initializing a treatment to your body that has never been done before. Keep on applying, being consistent, and you're going to see the changes. The levels. So if level 1, which is topical treatments, does not give you the satisfactory results you're looking for, the next step now is the antiophoresis machine. Antiophoresis is a small machine that passes weak electric shocks to the areas where you're experiencing the sweat. And what it does, it's like it paralyzes the, okay, I don't want to use that word. It sounds very weird. But what it does is like it delays the sweat glands from sweating for a period of time, depending on the sessions, the amount of sessions you do. So upon the first month of getting the machine, you have to do the sessions daily for the first month. Then the second month, you can schedule your sessions to 3 or 4 days a week. And it has proven, it's scientifically proven to produce successful results. And we have clients who have used it. We have helped them procure the machines from abroad. They always ask if we have them available in the country, but we don't. So we have to buy on behalf for them. So far, we have about 15 who have bought the machine, and they're enjoying life. One of my clients, she even told me, I wish I'd known about this like 5 years ago. I'll be in a different space in life. But I told her, even now it's not late. Now that you have learned that there is a solution, you can introduce many. So with the antiaphoresis machine, you can even choose to combine with the topical treatments, but it by itself, it works perfectly. And there are different brands. There are those previous ones which used to have the aluminum plates, because you place your palms, and then you can change the current and the time. The standard time is always 20 minutes. So you can choose 20 minutes for your hands, and you really feel there is a way you feel the current passing through your hands. You repeat that for the period of 1 month, and then you start scheduling for a month or two. You can even go for 2 weeks without sweating. 2 weeks. The next level now is the medical treatments. So if this other one is not giving you the satisfactory results, and mostly if you're not getting the best results, chances are you're not doing the sessions properly, the connections you're not doing properly, or you're not following the instructions the way it's supposed to. If month one you're only doing session once a week, you can't get the results. So you really have to be very disciplined. So let's say, for the sake of this conversation, that a client has an underlying issue. So this is why we go for the third level, which is the medical treatments. For the medical, the certified dermatologist can prescribe for you oral medication known as anticholinergics medication for hyperhidrosis. They do have side effects, dry mouth and all the others, but they only do it if it is necessary. If they look at the situation, your situationship, and they find out that it can be managed with the other levels of treatment, they usually advise. The oral medications are prescribed for people with extreme sweat, and the sweat that is from different areas of the body, not just one or two. So let's say una sweat kwa mikono, underarms, miguu, chest, larger areas such as the chest, the back. Now that the doctor can easily prescribe the oral medication, and they do it on, they can give you like a 2-week prescription to see how it works with your sweat. Is it reducing your sweat? And that will determine whether they will add or decrease the dosage. So treatment is in levels. I want to make this 100% clear that there is nothing wrong with sweating. Sweating, it's not bad. Sweating is good. It's a normal physiological body process. What we are talking about is excessive sweating. And throughout this, the sweat conversation, there is no place where I've talked about stopping sweat. It's managing the excessive sweating, because you need to sweat at the end of the day. Managing the sweat, we are managing the excessive sweating, the sweating that is interfering with your day-to-day activities. That is the sweat we are addressing, the sweat which we want to manage. We want you to sweat like the normal, acclimated person. We don't want you to stop sweating, because if you stop sweating now, that creates another issue. We want to help manage the excessive sweating. And we are looking also at the available and not available treatments. And each treatment is focused on each focal area. The area which you feel, this is an area that I want to prioritize, that I want to really address. So there are those who may be sweating on their hands, but the underarm sweating is the area where they want to address the most. As HAK, Hyperhidrosis Awareness Kenya, we look at all the options, the treatment options, and every treatment option has a budget. In 2022, I did, there is an interview I did with Dr. Hashim, and I was asking him about Botox injection. And he told me, for it to be done properly, for you to last between 8 months to 1 year with reduced sweat, you'll have to pay between 200 to 300K. Because there are certain milligrams that they need to inject. So it has to be within the limit. If it is less, it can cause some serious problems. If it is above the required units, also you end up creating a problem for yourself. If you have a budget of 200 to 300,000, and you know Botox is periodic, you have to do it annually. This means you can buy an antiaphoresis machine. And once you have it, you can travel with that machine anywhere. And all it needs is tap water. So you look at the treatment options and also look at the budget. If you don't have budget for antiaphoresis machine, you can try the topical treatments. And in all these treatments, also look at the coping mechanisms. Do not just focus only on the treatment, look at what is causing or rather triggering your sweat. Because there are people who have, their sweat is more emotionally induced. It is very tough to go deep into someone's emotion. You know, if it was possible, then tungekuwa tunafanya hivyo. Ati ile ninaangalia, wacha niingie kwa hizi emotions zako, niende nitafute nitoe. There is no specific brand or product that can manage emotional sweating. Emotionally, now it's you. We give you the tools. What is this that is stressing you? I have an interview tomorrow or next week. I usually tell my clients, do not rehearse for any interview. You are a professional. You applied for that job, they considered you. You're a professional. There's nothing they're going to ask you that is off the ordinary. Don't rehearse. Just go there. What they want to know is, who is this person? So hata unaweza enda pale and they ask you very unrelated questions. They'll be like, what do you do on Saturdays? That is not something to stress you, so don't think about it. What you do once you go there for that interview, there is that nervousness you get for the first time you walk in. But the moment you start exchanging, you know, having that conversation, you notice your mind gets out of, your mind is not now thinking about the sweat, your mind is fixated on the conversation. So even if you're sweating, you notice you're now calm, you're nervous, sweating is not happening. Apply the same thing. What triggers your sweat? Learn how to manage. If it is stress, I don't tell people, wacha kustress. Hii maisha is one stress after the other. So what do? Manage. Emotional issues, manage. And then apply the treatment. But if you apply na unajistress, your sweat is not going anywhere, because the whole process of sweat is partly controlled by the sympathetic nervous system. Na hiyo ndo inakuwaga responsible for fight or flight. So if you're constantly on fight or flight, how do you expect your sweat to reduce? It will always be. We always have to take our patients, our clients, step by step to understand. No, mtu akianza kutumia treatment anaona definitely this thing is working for me, right? So each treatment iko na budget. We have treatments which are unavailable. The available ones we have is the topical treatments. The only topical treatment that existed before HAK was Dryclar. The original manufacturer stopped producing because of the massive counterfeits. Utaenda upate moja ni 700, kwingine unaenda ni 1500. So the massive counterfeits is what made the company decided to end the production. Those were the only options we had, and they were very limited. Sisi wote hatuwezi tumia Dryclar. You can't apply Dryclar on the face, something that is 20% aluminum chloride. The face is very sensitive. You need something that is specifically generated and created for the face. As Hyperhidrosis Awareness Kenya, we started availing NIT 3B face saver gel for the face, Carpe serum for the scalp sweating. You have your Carpe for your hands. You have Zero Sweat. You have NIT 3B for the private areas and for the bum, for the below the breast. You see, I'm mentioning areas which are even very sensitive. So I had to go deep into research to look at brands which mtu hata akitumia haita react na itaanza cause other health issues. There are treatments which are not available. There is one called Miradry. Miradry is very essential for underarm sweating. For people with excessive sweating of the underarms and sweat with odor. It's non-invasive, si kitu kama surgery unaenda unafanya, no. It uses thermal technology. What it does, it completely removes the apocrine glands na ina reduce others. You will still sweat, but like a normal person. The treatment, it's only available in Namibia and South Africa. We don't have it in Kenya. I've been writing to different hospitals from abroad to see whether they can, if they offer training. Because I'm very interested. Nataka niende nikuwe trained on how to use the Miradry treatment, that device. And once I'm trained and I get that certification from them, then the next thing I'm going to do, nindakuja ni train dermatologist in Kenya. You see, for me, mi si mchoyo wa kujiekea information. I want people to have access to this treatment. And the first doctor hata nilimwambia I will be honored to train is Dr. Hashim. So once I'm trained, I can come back and train him, and they can have access to Hyperhidrosis Awareness Kenya, because we don't have it in Kenya. Once we have this treatment, it also serves as an option, because there are those who have asked, is there anything else that I can do for my underarms? Because I've tried the topicals, it's not working. So this should be the best treatment for them. But you see now, at the moment, we don't have it in the country. Getting the machine itself, a second-hand machine that is used. Major hospitals in Europe and States, in the States, they have hospitals which have a clinic. The clinic is where they have the device. There are those who sell their devices because the numbers of people they get sio wengi, and this is because hakuna hiyo awareness sana on the Miradry treatment. But independent clinics, they do have clients who have sweat issues. So normally those major hospitals, they sell those machines, and a second-hand one will be like $50,000. A new one is like 100 kwenda huko juu. But I'm sure there are other hospitals which can even lower the price depending on, because kuna wale wenye wanabadilisha their strategy. They're like for hyperhidrosis, they have partnered with another clinic. So they would rather send people to a specific clinic to deal with the sweat issue. But you see now, if we have Miradry in Kenya, it will serve the growing number of people with axillary sweating, not just in Kenya, but across the African continent, right? And this is where now the dream, the vision, my wish is to have a state-of-the-art sweat clinic in Kenya. We don't have. Right now, if you are to go for treatment, medical treatments, it's either you have to consult a dermatologist. If you go to a specific practice, that one dermatologist has how many patients, how many clients, and each one has a window of about 10 minutes. Vile utaingia uone daktari na utoke na uende uchukue your prescription, it's been counted as 10 minutes. Most people with sweat issues, for someone who has sweat with odor, can they just go and sit down and line up to wait for that one dermatologist and they know they have odor issues? Most of them, they will refrain. Or rather, they would ask if a certain dermatologist can be consulted at a specific time, which most doctors, unless those who do bookings, you book a day and then you go specifically to see the doctor. But with the sweat clinic, pale mtu atakuwa na aibu. Hata kama kuna hiyo inguinal sweat, atakuja pale because they know this is the only place where I will not be judged. This is the only place where I'll get the help that I need. And not just treatments alone, apart from the topical treatments, which will have like our own in-house pharmacy. You have your mirror dry treatment. You have a lab where we can even swap your sweat to know which bacteria we're dealing with. Apart from that, we'll also have the counseling sessions. Like I said, issues of sweat, they affect people psychologically. There are people who have committed suicide. There are people who have gone to extreme lengths to look for treatments. And they have done things which are potentially harmful and not helpful. So if you have a section, you have HAK, Hyperhidrosis Awareness Kenya, there is this one stop for you to get everything you need in terms of your sweat. You have counseling services. You have content that you can sit down and watch stories of people with same sweat issues as yourself. You have a children's clinic known as the playground, where they can go there and they can be attended to. The vision is broad. We want hyperhidrosis to be the movement that is going to touch the African continent. Because right now we have people across East Africa that have benefited from HAK. And the first question they ask is, do we have the same in our country? And HAK wants to build capacity in all those countries. If there's a clinic there, someone wants to partner with HAK, we go there, we teach, we share all the knowledge we have so that we can empower the people living with hyperhidrosis in those specific countries. Having a sweat clinic is one of the biggest visions that we have. Awareness rollout programs where we raise awareness to the deepest end, kule mashinani penye hata watu wengi wafikagi, we want to go there. Because most of the people that have reached out to us, and I'm talking people of all ages, from young people to even old people, professionals across different fields, from lawyers to teachers, to the normal day-to-day hustlers, they have all reached out to HAK. So many people have benefited from the advocacy and the work that we've put in. Currently, we're operating online. For 6 years, we've been operating online, but we want to spread. We want to have a place where people can walk in and receive the help they need. We want a place where someone can go and buy the topical treatments, where now they can see for themselves that this is what I'm buying. I've had clients in the past who have insisted to meet personally. They want to buy a topical treatment, but because of the online fraud business fraudulent businesses that have been recurring, they insist, I need to meet you in person so that I can buy, I need to see what I'm buying. I've done that multiple times. And even throughout this journey, I've come across people who have even accused me of all sorts of things. But we have remained relentless in our advocacy. And we believe that HAK is here to provide that shade that has never existed before. There were no sweat issues that were addressed before. But right now, it's not easy for someone to be taken advantage of by a medical practitioner. It's not easy for someone to be given wrong medication because we have given them the knowledge. We don't keep it to ourselves. We give them the knowledge so that when you choose to consult a dermatologist or a physician, there are important key things to look for. And if they don't add up, then you know you're not consulting the right person. Having the sweat clinic, education, raising the awareness part where you educate people on sweat issues, for them to understand, number one, it's not a problem when you sweat, but excessive sweating and how it affects the people with sweat issues and how they can support. Even if you don't suffer from excessive sweating, you can support someone who does. Number one, by acquiring knowledge. Attend these awareness programs. Sit down and listen, acquire the knowledge, then go and be the one to transform, be the awareness bridge between HAK and the client we are trying to help, the hyperhidrosis family. You can support HAK, whether it's monetary, by donating. No amount is small for us. Ile nyuko nayo, when you support, it goes towards hyperhidrosis awareness. You can support HAK by sharing hyperhidrosis awareness platform. ndio iweze kufikia watu wengi. If you can talk to us in your radio stations, in your independent groups. Do you know HAK hata tulijipata kwa Kilimani Moms. We never knew. But one of the ladies from Kilimani Moms, daughter yake was suffering from hyperhidrosis. I didn't know my name was there. But aliambiwa na mtu, there is this gentleman called Martin for HAK. We are in very unfamiliar groups. Tunajuaga tuko huko. And out of all those groups, we have really helped a lot of people. Our goal right now, we want to have a space where people can walk in and buy the topical treatments. We want to do bulk shipment because throughout the last 6 years, we've only managed to avail based on the resources we have. We have convened with the little resources we have. At times I'm even forced to go deep into my pocket, natoa pesa yangu, ndo niweze ku avail some of these topical treatments. It's a challenge, but one which I picked because hata mimi mwenyewe niko na hii sweat issue. So there is no way at any given point I will ever want to take advantage of anyone because I know the challenges that nimepitia and what the hyperhidrosis family is going through. So I'm just calling on for support and the future for HAK, future inakaa poa sana. Na nataka from even when, because I'm doing this until the wheels fall off. Even when I'm no longer here, I know ndakuwa nimeacha hiyo shade, hiyo mti. Sasa wenye wataenjoy the shade ni wenye ninang'eng'ania sahi. Right now I'm the one watering the tree. I'm somewhere in the desert. There are no rains. I have to figure out where to get the water. Ndo nieke hii mti. I may not enjoy the shade, but kuna wale wenye watakuja kuienjoy. And I'm doing it for them. If you want to reach out to Hyperhidrosis Awareness Kenya, you can find us on Facebook, Hyperhidrosis Awareness Kenya. You can find us on Instagram at Hyperhidrosis Awareness Kenya. You can reach out to me personally. Hata namba yangu ndio iko kwa Facebook. You can reach me on 0717 225 707. 0717 225 707. And I also want to say thank you very much, Justus, for giving me this opportunity. I never knew I'll get to this place. And it's because of my purpose ndio imeniintroduce kwako. Thank you very much. Continue doing what you're doing. You have impacted life. I've never told you this, but nimekuwa nikikuadmire na hii kazi unafanya. You're very relentless in what you do, and that is something that I draw from you. So thank you very much, and thank you to the Hyperhidrosis family. And by the way, tumefika hapa kwa shared moments with Justus. Thank you very much.